Video 4. Will stream or wetlands be impacted, and how to measure impacts? At this point, you've already identified your proposed project area and activities. You've also identified any stream or wetland resources in close vicinity to your project. Next, you will need to determine whether stream or wetland impacts will occur, and if so, the size of those impacts. First, let's talk about what is considered an impact to streams or wetlands. An impact to a stream is any activity occurring below the ordinary high water mark, which we defined in Video 3. Both temporary and permanent impacts should be part of your water's impact summary. A few examples of impact actions include culvert installation, bank stabilization, fill, or dredging. Include areas temporarily impacted by equipment access or use, such as timber matting or staging areas. If you answer that there are no stream and no wetland impacts, then your measured impacts for streams and wetlands would be answered as 0. Next, let's talk about how to measure your stream or wetland impacts. For streams, Kentucky Division of Water still quantifies impacts measured in linear feet. Linear feet of stream should be measured as the upstream-downstream extent along the bank that will be impacted by the proposed action. These measurements can be taken manually or calculated with the help of a digital mapping tool, such as Google Maps. Most projects should count the length along one side of the bank, as the full width of the stream is assumed to be potentially impacted. One exception is for bank stabilization projects, where the segment along each bank side should be counted independently and summed together. If your project occurs around a water resource, similar to a pond, lake, or basin, then the water impact should be measured as the linear feet around the perimeter of the water edge being impacted. Something to watch out for is that wetlands are also commonly present around the margins of ponds, lakes, or open water, and could be potentially impacted by your project actions. Be sure to report any wetland impacts as well if present. Wetland impacts are measured differently than streams. First, you can identify the wetland size as the acreage it covers. It could be relevant to break down each wetland area or acreage by its wetland type, especially if compensatory mitigation would be required. Note that permanent conversion of wetland type by clearing a forested or scrub-shrub wetland to a maintained emergent wetland often requires compensatory mitigation to offset the loss of resource functional value. Actions that occur adjacent to a wetland area, that alter the hydrology of the area, or that could potentially drain a wetland area, such as new culvert installation, should be reviewed for potential indirect impacts to the wetland resource. This might need to be included within your impacts acreage calculation. The Kentucky Division of Water allows for wide flexibility in proposed project design. However, the following should not be used in areas of stream or wetland resource impacts: poured unformed concrete, grouted riprap, creek rock for bank stabilization, poured asphalt, or asphalt pieces. Approved alternatives include poured formed cast concrete, poured concrete or grout contained in tightly sealed forms or cells, including polybags, riprap large enough to remain stable in stream hydrology, gabion baskets, sheet pile and backfill, precast stacking concrete block forms, and bioengineering design.